Hey guys, I have decided lately that I wanted to I I wanted to share some of the important thing that is we face in everyday life, just um, like our triggers. So, what are they, and how actually they work, and how they impact our everyday life? So, triggers are mostly we all have. Maybe it is the triggers can be we have accumulated from an event, a situation, or a person. We see them and just trigger the situation, the stories behind the fight we had with them, and it brings out all those, you know, ugly emotions, and you can literally feel in your body, and your heart start racing, your mind goes like it just start creating stories and stories and stories. So okay, so you keep justifying yourself why you are triggered, why that person is not nice, why you don't have a good relation with it, why things went bad, and what happened when you see the person, and it just go behind without you are seeing yourself. It just keep going and keep going. So it doesn't really feel that great. And that just goes for days, sometimes 1 or few hours, or sometimes it goes for days, and you have had time to handle those triggers. So you must be, relating to this, because we all have that situation, those people in our life. So there is actually, we can deal it with a better way. So understanding our triggers and understanding what is, triggering us is very very important. It's like you have a mobile, you have your TV, and you have the remote. You can change any channel you want. Okay, so it's in your control. But when you see a person, when it triggers you, you just, how peaceful you might be at that point of time. You just, your mood shift, everything shift, your days, entire day goes like, oh, I don't want to see him or her, I don't want that person in my life, I wish that person would vanish, it is just like that. So now your remote is in their hand, right? So so was same with me. And as I have a family, I have kids, and couples go through up and down, and we say things, we in the moment we might not always mean that, but in the moment we say it, and it just stays in our mind, just like a physical scar. It just scar in it, just a scar in our brain, just scar in our memory. Whenever you bring out those things, it hurts. Whenever similar kind of situation happens, it goes like, oh, this is what I know, this happens, I know this person is like that, I know this person is not worthy, I know that he or she makes me mad. And yes, this is what happens. This is your trigger. So once you see your trigger, once you see that struggle in you, so now the situation is you have to handle it, and you have to handle it in a much better, calmer way. Well, what is the what is that wrong thing that we do? So first we fight, we say things, and then we patch up. But what we forgot is the triggers, does the said that the things that said, it is still there in your mind. It is not it healed. So we need to heal. We need to let go. We need to forgive for that. But we do not have time for that. We are in so much of a rush. We tend to forget that we have to forgive, we have to heal ourselves, and we have to let go of the even the emotional impact it has left in our body and mind. Yes. So that is the one mistake we always do. There are many ways we can address our trigger. So many times our triggers are nothing but it is trying to say, I'm still there inside. I'm still there inside you. I'm still there. You have to let go of it. You have to let go and move on. And if you want to create something new, you have to let go of this because it is creating a obstacle in your mind and your body. But how much time we have to listen to it? So this is what the things uh, that we always overlooked. So I have been through many, many, many situations such like that, and I'll just give an example. Let's say a couple or a family. A couple are not in the same, um, you know, same page. Someone is more dominating. Someone is, getting dominated, and not enough, strong to oppose it, though they understand it's not right. It can be a male, it can be a female. So what happens, those triggers and those emotional blockages piled up through the years, months and days. Okay, it doesn't go off from anywhere from within you, but it just settled down, you know within you. So it is so much, after a few years or months, it became just like you start feeling different way because you are getting dominated by the other person, by your maybe friend, maybe your kids, maybe your spouse, or maybe your parents. It can be anyone. So this is for everyone actually. So when that happened, you just keep allow those people to dominate you, and dominate you. Then you went to a situation. You goes to a place where you know you observe everything. You don't say anything, but you don't like it. You don't like the feeling the dominant person. So what happened, you start hating the person who's dominating. But it's not the problem with the person but with the behavior. But we haven't addressed that. We haven't raised the issue. We haven't talked about it. So it became more you know crucial for us. Day by day it just start getting, start building up within ourselves. And one day you just burst, and the other person doesn't understand what happened. She's being fine, he's being fine. I haven't treating his or her him or her in the same way. What has gone into this person? But the thing is, you have never ever been addressed. So the other person who's acting like a dominant person, it's not just his or her fault, but also it is your fault. So here comes the hardest part, the part to accept that you let them treat. You might be so naive, you couldn't understand that behavior of the other person, and you didn't take it so seriously. but it was building up inside you. It was hurting you. It was hurting you to the level that you you know speak it out in a different way, not in a way that you wanted to communicate, but you just blasted. So that's what always happen when we do not communicate things in a right way. And yes, and the other person also doesn't really understand that part, that when you try to communicate, because it's been in their nature to be dominant, to be act act like a boss, or like like a person who dominates everyone. He talks and she talks to everyone, treat everyone like that, and nobody has ever told him or her. It can be anything. But the first thing, when we start knowing these triggers, so over a year, these triggers become so intense within you. So you need to work on it. When you have to work on it, first thing you have to do is accept it. That okay, that person did this, I have done this, and this is my fault. Rather than seeing the fault in other person, you see the fault within you. Why actually at the first place you letting him or her dominate? What is that? Was it manipulation? Was it dominance? What is out of you know out of feeling responsibility, and what it is actually? First thing to identify, first thing to accept, then to identify where it comes from and why you didn't act from the starting itself. So if you haven't acted early, that's not even a problem, but still you have time to act on it. First thing to work on yourself. So working on yourself, the hardest part, but that are simplest way. The first thing is writing down all your triggers and understanding where it is coming from, why you have accepted all those dominance over the year, all the arrogance over the year. Why? Out of out of out of fear, or out of, it can be anything, out of just the sense of responsibility, or just you wanted to keep quiet, you don't want to do anything about it, but you have done the mistake. It's just not the mistake, you have done a big mess. Okay, so now once you understand this is a mess, you are also involved in it. Now you will stop feeling too bad towards that person. So you will not be feeling that resentment towards the other person who has made you feel uh, maybe guilt, ashamed, or anything. So when that happened, when you when you understand those are just words, and it came from a person who's equally hurt, who also have fear of maybe losing their power, maybe losing their identity, maybe fear of it can be anything, maybe because of the ignorance. Most of the time people doesn't understand they're doing it, but they were not aware of it, they're doing it. So it can be anything. So when you once you understand from where the person is coming and why he is doing it, and what has made you to accept those things and let the person treat you in that true way that triggered you, let the person or situation trigger you. Why? Maybe you also have done it because you're so naive, you don't know how to deal with it, you may be out of fear, out of judgment, out of shame or guilt. It can be anything. Okay, so I'll tell you one thing, and there was long years back when I was in the same situation. I was not understanding what to do. I thought it's just normal thing. I don't need to react to everything. But over the period time, it get accumulated in my mind, and after some years, it just came out as more like anxiety, more like irritation and all that. So when I realized where it comes from, so how it is disturbing me, how it is destroying my peace of mind, then I learned, oh my god, this comes from me, not from the other person. I need to heal myself, not to work on other person. So before that, I used to think it is the other person whose behavior is that. That's also right. It is their behavior, but where you have to work on it, you have to work on yourself. So when I start working around it, understanding my trigger, accepting my trigger, understanding why I have let it, I'm not able to let it go. So it is a process. So I started healing it by forgiving, by saying that whatever happened uh, between you, me, and the situation around us. So whoever is guilty, but I am forgiving you, accepting you the way you are. I'm forgiving myself. I'm accepting the way I am. I love you and I thank you. It is a way of which is called Ho'oponopono and which works amazingly. And you can keep trying do it for like 5 to 10 days, or whenever that keeps that situation or the person can come to your mind, you can repeat it immediately. It takes few seconds, but once you repeat it 5-10 times, it calm you down, it settle your energy, and it balance the balance the energy and create a peace within you. That's what is important. So this is the most important thing you should be doing. And apart from that, one more thing, writing it down, writing down what all has happened, how you feel, how you don't wanted it, or whatever it is about you. It is in your mind. Put it in the paper. Just empty yourself, and then do Ho'oponopono for a few days, months, maybe wherever you feel like you have to forgive someone, you can do it. And energy work creates, and it just impact much more bigger way than anything else. So that doesn't mean I don't have my triggers now, but I'm still working, I'm still healing. So I'm not disturbed when it is coming to me. I'm accepting it. I am forgiving myself. I am healing myself. So this is the most important part we all will be doing if you don't want to suffer. Situation, people, and everything around you maybe keep coming and going. What makes you subtle, makes you balanced, keep your energy balanced, keep your body and mind balanced is this: understanding and acting upon it, giving yourself time and healing it. Healing is very, very important. Give yourself every day little time to forgive. Choose every day what you want to forgive, and do Ho'oponopono. And it works amazingly beautiful way. And before you even understand, your triggers get dissolved, and someday you suddenly feel that you think of the person, think of the situation, think of the entire entire event, but you don't feel anything. You are not triggered anymore. You do not get upset with all those things and the people and the situation. That means you are healed. Now you learn. The last thing you have to do is ask yourself, what is the learning behind it? what you learned from this situation. That situation might be, in such a way it made you stronger, make you more uh, like self-dependent rather than depending on others, not expecting from others, evolving in a different way. So what it is, so the biggest wisdom is learning. What is the learning behind it? When you ask from any situation that what is the learning behind it, everything else, you know just start working for you. It will show you why it happened, how it helped you to grow from the place you were and from the place you wanted to go. What are the steps you have chosen, and how it helped you to grow in your life. And when you connect the dots, it always makes sense. For me, it always makes sense. It made me independent, fierce, beautiful, peaceful, amazing, wonderful soul and a human being. So when you understand this, you'll start forgiving more, you'll be more kind and compassionate, and you start loving yourself more, because everything starts from loving yourself. Stay tuned for the next video. Thank you so much.